On the eve of the election, Hillary Clinton pulled the plug on the fireworks show that she was planning on election night. And this is surprising because this thing had been in the works for a couple of weeks. And now, abruptly, there will not be a 2-minute fireworks display over the Hudson. The question, why?
Why did she pull the plug? Well, I will say that what we found out about this when we talked to the Coast Guard makes it seem like this was about embarrassment over it ever coming out. You remember, this came out last week, early last week, that she had made all these plans. In fact, the day after the last debate is when the campaign contacted the Coast Guard and the Department of Homeland Security to say, here's what we want to do. Here's our big fireworks celebration that we're planning for election night. And they had to do this ahead of time because part of it had to do with noise ordinances, because it would be going on potentially much later than normally they allow those things.
Although it was only going to go for 2 minutes and it had to happen before 11:55 at night.
Right. So once that came out, and then 2 days later, what we found out is that on Thursday is when the campaign contacted the Coast Guard, called them back again and said, you know what, never mind, we're not going to do this.
I'll tell you why I'm baffled by this.
That seems like they're just embarrassed. There was a lot of bad press for it.
But here's why I'm baffled. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, there isn't anything wrong.
It's like, it makes no sense to me because so what? I'm presuming she wants to win. She's planning that she may well win. And if she wins, why not have this kind of a display? Why is that embarrassing? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Here's the only thing that the only part that sort of makes that make sense is, remember, she was losing, her lead was shrinking a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and maybe it looked, that combined with, if you combine her sort of preparing for a celebration and the lead shrinking, then it does look kind of bad, right?
And you know what sucks is there were a lot of people involved in putting this together. Like even like the fireworks company out in New York, this was like their big thing. They were trying to get all these fireworks together, and now this order is just gone. And you know, nobody really wants to say anything about it, but you can tell they're really upset about this was going to kind of be their big moment for a global stage to get all their products out there.
I have a weird idea about why this happened, and this isn't anything that anybody said, but this is what's in my head, is that, you know, one of the things that she's trying to do is make sure that African Americans get out and vote, because right now the numbers aren't as high as in 2012 with Obama, and that it's very important to do this.
If you seem too confident.
If you seem too confident, then people are going to say, you don't need me anyway. Now, I don't know that this is the case, but it's the only thing that's really making sense to me, because I don't see anything embarrassing on her part
that you plan
to plan for it in case you win.
Yeah, but it is kind of embarrassing if the world knows that you have this cache of like celebratory fireworks that don't get to go off.
Trust me.
But you know,
that's the
everybody
last thing. If Donald Trump wins and she loses,
she's worried about is
nobody's going to be talking about, oh, the fireworks were unexploded.
Hey guys, it's Matt from Las Vegas. There are two schools of thought here with the fireworks. One, maybe Clinton's camp found out the polls weren't going her way and it's going on a downward trend, and didn't want to go immediately into something like, you know, a bad Dewey defeats Truman kind of thing. Another school of thought, and that was just mentioned, if it is the public perception of being too showy, or something like that. One would imagine that.
I don't get why it's too showy. If you win the presidency, you kind of want to have a big display. I mean, it seems to me that you could justify fireworks if she ends up winning presidency of the United States. So I don't.
By the way, there are still several plans going on as far as parties for both candidates in New York City, and actually there's a very heavily armed force outside of Donald Trump's, and by the way, there may be outside of Hillary's party as well. It's just we can't get as close to it. But we saw that there were police that were armed police outside of the Hilton.
They're all over the place.
Right.